effectively or however to get that many free throws?
Yeah, it's something we've got to clean up. You know, we can't foul. I'll see it when I watch the film. You know, again, I thought there was a few plays where we were pretty vertical and went up and you know, maybe didn't go our way, but you know, that's one game. You know, we've been getting to the foul line a lot. I didn't think Terrence. You know, Terrence usually. You know, I think the game before we came out here and drew 10 fouls, and you know, he's a high-level foul drawer. And you know, in a high-level game, you're not going to get those, and we got to be ball tough, and we've got to be smarter and not foul. And obviously there was a big foul towards the end of the game with the shooting foul. But those are mistakes you can't make.
Coach, I know Terrence can't make 8 threes every single game, but when you have the 5th leading scorer in the nation, do you need him to score well and or play well to win games, in your opinion?
You always want your best players, and I'm always going to put them in positions to try to be successful. You know, it was a unique night. I mean, Terrence is, from the free throw line, it was very unique. He didn't get there, and he's been a guy that's because you make a lot of threes one night, he can't forget where his bread is buttered, so to speak, and that's driving that thing to the rim. And you know, it opens the second half and just missed a layup. You know, and he got really good looks and felt good about some of those things. And he's got to grow from this. You know, we're expecting him to be really, really good, and we're counting on him to be really good. And good players don't have off nights in big games. Just doesn't happen. You hardly ever see that. And he's got to accept that role and become that guy for us.
Coach Dane Danger, over here, Coach. Dane Danger I think he played just 7 minutes in the first half. Was there something you saw, or is it just saving him for the second half? Or?
Great flow. I mean, we were getting, you know, with Dane in the game, we played a little bit different. But tonight we had great flow. It was one of the challenges. One of the mistakes I made in the second half. Dane got us some easy baskets, but it got us out of flow. And you know, I set Matt too long. We were clicking with Coleman. We were getting cuts. We had the ball moving, and it was not in any way effective of Dane. It was just what they did. We forced them to play small, and you know, they took their 2 7-footers out, which they hardly ever do. And but we got everything we wanted. In the first half with our movement, and so there was just one of those nights for him. And I like the way we were guarding and able to switch, so it has much to do with that end as the other.
Brad, obviously you scheduled this tournament to test your team, find out what you have. What'd you find out against 2 very different opponents?
Yeah, we're pretty good. We're going to be really good. And you know, the 2 teams that are playing right now are both top 10 teams. And you know, Virginia is one of the most experienced teams in the country, and obviously, you know, you got a point guard who won a national championship and leading them. So, you know, they've got all 5 starters back, and we're right there. Our ceiling, you know, we're not even close to it, and I'm still learning. You know, 8 new guys, and I'm still learning. Okay, maybe Terrence has an off night or somebody takes it away. Where do I go? So I'm learning just as much about this group in the heat of the moment, but go hoop and play and compete and fight. We just did that at a very, very high level in what you could call this a Final Four caliber event, and it was. And I feel pretty good about that. Now we just can't rest on it. We've got to drive them. We've got to get better. And we talked about that, as Coleman mentioned, the Friday, Sunday turns, and you know, mentally tough and the grind and getting in elite shape and all those things. And you know, handling a scouting report. You know, we didn't have a shoot around this morning. All that stuff is new for these guys, and you know, we had to make some adjustments on the fly. We made some pretty good ones, and we made some that didn't quite work. But we'll get there. But boy, you guys hardly ever hear me happy after a loss. But I'm in a fairly good place with what can be.
Brad, I came a little late. I'm sorry if you said this, but obviously with what Virginia's been through with what happened on their campus. Can you kind of, and I don't want to diminish that by making it about basketball, but can you see in the way that they play that maybe it brought them together and playing with a new perspective, just kind of throwing themselves into it? I mean, maybe there's a connection between what happened and how they played here.
Oh, I would be disappointed if it's not. And I think that, you know, we talked about that with our team. They're playing for a cause. And you know, when I was at Oklahoma State, Seth, we played in the NCAA tournament, the Michigan team that had the scare with the plane crash that had won the Big Ten tournament. And you get a little bit of just a appreciation for what we get to do. And we get to go play the game we love it, because it could be really taken away from us. And that's, it makes me nauseous. It makes me sick to think that that's happening on our college campuses, within our athletic departments, and especially, you know, I guess it happens anywhere, but a prestigious, you know, university like the University of Virginia. So I'm sure they did. I'm sure they had a mission. Now, I also know Tony's team's really good, and they don't need that. But I would hope that that's maybe brings a little joy to the 20,000 people, he said yesterday, that were at the funeral services, and the solemnness that they're going through. So that stuff really bothers me, but I would hope it brings them just a little joy anyway.
To see how your team played and responded, maybe two very different late game situations in these two games, just what can you take from that? Is that just maybe a bigger part of using these games?
Execution. I mean, you got to, you know, and again, in the UCLA game, we were able to get the ball where we needed to get it. We were, you know, and Terrence made shots. You know, it became a little more of an isolation game, and just moving. You know, today, I was probably as bothered by the defensive side as I was the offensive side in terms of executing, and yet you've, you know, we've got to be tougher. We've got to be mentally disciplined, dialed in. We came out of a timeout. Jaden Epps is going to be fabulous, guys, and just broke off a play. Didn't even run it the right way, and diagram it on. And those are all learning points. Those are all things we have to learn, and you know, that's something that, you know, there's no, you can do that in high school and get away with it because you're the best player on the court. Out here, there's real dudes, and you know, those are all moments.
Right, getting back to Jaden there, you clearly are trusting him with the ball late in games. What have you seen from him, practice, and so far this season to have him earn that trust?
Well, he and Sky are really good, and you know, I mean, I had those guys in a lot down crunch time, but no, he was very effective in increasing their defense, especially their ball screens. We were twisting a lot of ball screens tonight, and you know, I thought like Jaden could get into the paint. He's been a very, very, very good finisher at the rim over size, and but again, he missed a couple that he normally makes, and we don't want to discourage that in any way. But you know, and then Sky's just been rock solid, and I got to get Sky, you know, a little more assertive and aggressive. But we're in good hands with those two.
Coach, in the late game execution offensively, I know you touched on that a little bit, but how much is it just trying to find who you guys are there, that identity of what you want to do then? Yeah,
felt pretty good after Friday night's game. You know, hey, we're going to get the ball to Terrence, and you go with your veterans, and my mind is, as you guys know, I lean heavily on the veterans, and tonight, you know, in a game that TJ truthfully didn't have it going, I ran a couple of things to Jaden, and then we tried to get a couple post-ups for Dane. Dane got a great look. The ball didn't go in, but I've got to. It's on me. I set Matt too long. Matt's a guy who can go get a bucket, and I gotta get him in the ball game now.
Hey Brad, so could you talk to us about the freshmen, specifically Jaden and also Sincere, just how they didn't have any fear in the moment this weekend?
Yeah, they just love to hoop. They love to compete. They're both extremely competitive. Sky's very competitive. Ty Rogers is very competitive. Ty had a tough tournament. You know, he got in foul trouble the first night, and was better tonight, but all these guys compete, and they're about all of the right things. They're about winning. They're about us, and it's not here where they're out here trying to play for their draft status, or any of that. These guys are here. They're invested in everything we're doing, and they love their university. They love their teammates, and when you play the game the right way like that, you're going to find success. And are there going to be days like today where there's a speed bump? Yeah, and you grow from that. And it's next time, next man up, they'll make it. And that's what I like about this group. They're not going to play with fear, and they're going to cut it loose.
With the defense, with your switching, Virginia seemed to, and both teams did a little bit, Virginia executed better with the slipping it and ghosting it, whatever they were trying to do against those. How do you develop, is just communication there with these guys?
Yeah, it's first, second half, we have to call a timeout because we just literally don't communicate on something we talked about at halftime. We knew that they go to the baseline, and the baseline runner's not a screen, so that it's not a switch. And we were trying to switch it, and again, scouting report, not having to shoot around, knowing that that's something in their bag. You've got to learn some of those things on the fly. That's where experience helps. A couple of those times it was veterans. It was RJ and Cole and Matt once. So you've got to grow from those. I thought you hold one of the best offensive teams in the country to 30. What did they shoot the first half? I don't know the stat sheet. 37%. And we did a lot of great things. They hurt us with second chance points, but I thought our defense was really pretty solid throughout for facing the teams we faced out of it.
Brad, do you have an update on
This
that?
last one.
I don't know anything. He said it just was a stinger, and we'll see. I hope it's nothing beyond that.
All right.
Thank you.